Radio Free Tatooine presents Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
Boshuda, fellow Holotable hustlers, you're tuned into Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, a.k.a. the other Sean, and sitting across the Holotable from me is Josh, a.k.a. the Golden Pop-Tart.
So I was thinking this week that now that you're my guild leader, it'd be pretty awkward if you cut me from the guild. So, I'm just wondering how much I can get away with, right? I mean...
Yeah, I guess that's pretty real. And you have to be the benchmark. You know what? It's similar to when I was guild leader with John in the guild. He was the benchmark. We wouldn't take anyone with a roster lower than his. And I guess we can work with something like that.
I mean, technically, I am actually... I'm not the lowest, obviously, so I'm 11 now, so I mean...
No, for you, we would measure it with effort level.
I mean, I will say, I think I'm ranked number 9th right now in the TB, so, I mean, I'm not doing too shabby.
All right. Yeah. Well, if you haven't gathered it, we've got a lot of fun tales to tell from our brand new guild, the RF Tatooiners. It's been wild. Starting a brand new guild as an endgame player in 2025 is stupid. Don't do it. Come join ours instead. The link will be in the description. Again, we're still recruiting. So we're going to talk about that. We also, of course, we have the final piece of the Bad Batch puzzle, Crosshair. The kit has been revealed. He's not available just yet because they always do it like a week and a half before he hits the game, it feels like. But we will be talking about him as well. And then kind of updating on some of who we're grinded tonight is going to be nuts because if you just guess right now, just write it down on a piece of paper, who the two people I've been grinding are. And then at the end of the episode, look at that piece of paper and laugh at how stupid you were for guessing.
That's the way to go, right?
No, it's been a weird week. That's all I'm going to say. A weird week. Okay, but before we get into... I feel so bad. I just berated our listeners. I don't believe that any of you are stupid. I am stupid. You had a good idea for someone to grind. I have stupid ideas, and that's what I've been doing.
I was just thinking, yep, that's what they listen to this for, just to be told that they're dummies.
Bunch of dum-dums. No, the average listener is probably much smarter in this game than I am. I just sit behind a microphone. Man, that's some real talk right there. All right, let's get into it. Let's have some blurf days. Okay, so this week we've got a couple blurf days. We've got on the 8th this releases on the 7th. So Saturday, we've got a blurf day party for the Ebon Hawk. Which, honestly, when was the last time you used Ebon Hawk?
Oh, well, it was actually when we used the Executor. So going against the Executor with my First Order team. So
yeah,
that was the last time.
It's been a minute.
It's been a bit.
It was a decent reinforcement on certain, like on Executor mirror matches too, because the chaff would come in and prevent target locks. But
I don't know. When I think of chaff, I just think of sports rashes and
you think of
chafe. Yeah, right. So I mean,
yeah, it's an unfortunate close word there means something totally different. But yeah, you can't really separate it from that imagery. I do too. It's unpleasant. Ooh, that chaffs a bit.
Yeah, that chaff.
And then, let's see, the very next day, it's all weekend stuff. And then we're back to business on Monday. On the 9th, Sunday, we've got Cal Kestis. That's the baby Cal. And I wish I could credit you. I don't remember which of our listeners came up with this, but CK1. I like CK1. I wish it would have stuck. I wish it would have caught on. It's a good quality nickname. Is turning 2 years old. And then on the same day, Chopper and Hera are both turning 8 years old. Yeah.
That's a couple days.
Wow. That's yikes. That's a lot of time in this game. A lot of time. I still, it's weird to think about the eras of this game and think that Phoenix coming out all around the same time seemed so cool because they were such a interesting team that like shared abilities and I think of that as a turning point where like the design kind of started to change and the Thrawn event was cool and all that. That was like at the beginning of this game, you know, like this game had been out for a year and a half, less than. Man.
I mean, you said the Thrawn event was fun. I don't remember that being fun.
It's not. It was cool that Thrawn hit the game.
Yes,
that's really what I meant.
I mean, I remember going through and putting that on auto all the way up until you get right to the end, and then you go through and you die and you die.
I remember you having me try it. You handed me your phone at work. What? And just beat
hopefully my boss isn't listening to this. So that was a long time ago.
If your boss is listening to this, your boss gets it.
Yeah, there you go.
Your boss is doing the exact same thing. So happy birthday to Ebonhawk, Cal Kestis, Chopper, and Hera. Now let's take a look at this week's upcoming in-game events brought to you by swgohevents.com. For a complete list of past, present, and future events, swgohevents.com is a universe of info in a galaxy of heroes. On the 7th, Friday, as you know what, if you're listening to this on launch day on the 7th, pause it and go do this Omega battle. It's Imperial Fleet. It's super fun. And then come back. So that's it for the 7th. On the 8th, we've got an assault battle, Forest Moon. On the 9th, we have Contraband Cargo, the original Contraband Cargo. And then a Smuggler's Run 2. There's some rewards.
It's just so amazing to sim that. Like, it is probably one of the best sims ever.
That and Ultimate Journey. Simming Ultimate Journey is nice. But Smuggler's Run, even once I had it figured out, it took forever. So, like, you do a few moves, get something set up, and then you hit auto. But, like, you had to set your phone down for 20 minutes, come back, and there you go. There's your rewards. Ugh. Sim it. On the 10th, we've got an Omega battle on Coruscant. Everybody celebrate. We also have week 3 of Grand Arena Championship Season 63. The sign-up starts on the 10th. Then on the 11th, we have Endor Escalation. And on the 12th, we have another assault battle, Secrets and Shadows. Speaking of sim. Love it. I love it. Those new Night Sisters really changed a lot. That was the dumbest event in the game until the Night Sisters, the Great Mother and Morgan batch came around. All right, so that's it. But before we dive into this week's top stories, I want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. If you like what we do and you want to be a part of our very exclusive community, Not as exclusive as RF Tatooiners, but close. It's close. Head over to patreon.com/Galactic War Report. Your support makes this podcast possible, and you get access to the VIP section of our Discord. You get episodes a day early. You can get access to the Doth Chat, which is our weekly chat that we do before we record the show. The Wednesday cadence, if you want to really, really get down with the RF Tatooiners, you can join the guild. That's one thing, right?
There you go, right?
We've got 18 slots open. I've promised, I think, 2 to people after Territory Battle, but so still plenty of spots. But they will be filling up, I'm sure. But the Wednesday, the total party, 7:00, I'm streaming on Twitch. If it's a Grand Arena week. If not, maybe I'll show up and do something stupid on Twitch. I don't know. But 7:00, I stream on Twitch. 8:30, we do a Doth Chat with all of our Patreon supporters and just talk about. This week, it was pretty much all Galaxy of Heroes stuff, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's Golden Girls. Sometimes it's dogs or, therapy sessions. It's all kinds of stuff. And then we have the show we record after that. And if you're a patron at the $5 level or higher, Thursday morning, you got Friday's episode. How sweet is that? Everyone else is waiting, and you're sitting there in your High-Falutin chair with your High-Falutin headphones on, listening to your early access episode, like some kind of High-Faluter. All right, I think I lost the thread I was pulling on there. So, punch it, Pop-Tart.
So we do have a little bit this week. Let's wait to do Crosshair just for a moment here. Let's dive back into this guild for a moment. And
sure.
I think the interesting thing at the beginning was just how many people are we going to get? And
I know. Is it going to fill right up, or is it going to be echoes?
Right. And I remember messaging you in the morning, be like, "We had people. They showed up. This is." It's like I was a little bit nervous at first, but then all of a sudden we start to get it, and we got a good group. Looking at the total GP, we're above 200 million. So, that's pretty dang good. If I remember right, we're actually like 370 now.
Yeah, I was going to say we're 350 range, but we're doing all right. 32 out of 50.
Yep.
And we're at 370 million.
Yeah.
It's good. We've been we've kind of stuck to our guns on people show up and they seem like a good fit, but their roster is a little low, and we're like, maybe, and we've got a couple people that are in there like, hey, all right, maybe. And to be completely honest, some of it's still up in the air. I don't know, but we're trying to pull in big rosters, end game players, and make this. It's always hard to balance. You want good community, right? You want the good people.
Yeah.
You also want the big rosters, so it's not like when we go into a raid or, I think for guild stuff, raid and territory battles is where you're you gotta have some muscle,
A couple GLs.
And we have a good group of people that have some muscle and seem like they're good folks,
Yeah. It's been nice. Going through and get to know a few different people on there too, and it feels like the Discord's doing pretty well, and it feels like we got good personalities too. I think that's kind of the nice part, and because I think all of us have been a part of a guild or a part of a situation where you're kind of like, all right, I'm gonna do a little bit of the guild here, but we'll kind of see. But on the other side of it, I'm
people
poking
are
through
excited.
a lot of stuff. Yeah,
they're excited to be a part of this, and that's. I'll be honest. When I made it, I knew Wolverines joined. He was one of the fellow Black Sun heroes who didn't make the cut in the merger, and so he was the most excited about this. We're doing this, and I think he talked me into it when I built the guild and sent out requests and no one was showing up. But he was still in Discord like, hey, man, this is going to be awesome. And someone would show up in Discord and he's like, yeah, man, we're doing this. And then they wouldn't join or, something.
Yeah.
And like that night, it took a while before a few people showed up. And I was really thinking like, maybe this isn't going to work. Maybe I just call it off. And I came real close. And I talked to you. I talked to him. And you guys were both just like, hey, man, it's all good, Yeah. And then it started moving. And so, yeah. So long story short, it's got some momentum. And I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, we're currently able to do TB, which is nice. I think we're a little bit nervous. We did miss out on Territory War because we just didn't have 25 at the time.
Yet. We were so close. We had like 22 or 23. I mean, it was close, but they just hadn't rolled in yet.
I just hope that our first one is just like a really easy one for War, where it's just basically we're going against another guild that is maybe not as strong, and then we just get some wins for a little bit.
I feel like there's a decent chance that that's exactly what happens.
I mean, that's a benefit of the new guild. We still got that new guild smell, and I mean,
we do. We do.
We'll see how long, but no, yes,
it is in the air.
So we're in territory battle right now. It definitely is not like previous guild where we are 3-star in the first few planets right off the bat. We definitely. Right. I think we're right now. We just got to 12 stars. I think right now.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And this is in phase 3. Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of guilds do this. Like even full guilds that have smaller rosters, like it kind of balances out, right? But we went into territory battle, and I didn't have a plan. I just thought, well, here goes a territory battle, and I panicked that morning and put together a plan that was kind of ripped off from what we used to do on Black Sun Heroes, but it's a different guild. It's a different situation by far. So, we stopped on Mustafar and Corellia, stopped before 1 star, and then on Coruscant, we were supposed to stop before 1 star, and I was going to gauge it, right? Mm-hmm. But someone pushed us over the 1 star, and I was like, well, I guess here we go. And we hit 3 stars on Coruscant. Cool. And then the next day we picked up 3 stars on the other 3. So the first 3 planets we maxed out. Now we've maxed Braca, but we're just loading Felucia and what's the other one? Geonosis. So it's working out. It's a very build the plane as we fly it thing, but it's working because we got good people who are excited about it. And of course that excitement's going to die down, but it's also just, it's so silly. We're like really pumped about finally launching a Rancor raid tomorrow.
I know, right? I mean, we're at 12 stars, so that's going to give us 525 crystals. So, I mean, originally we're thinking we're going to get almost nothing, because we're going to do Hoth or something. So, is it going to be perfect? No, but...
God, no.
Now, speaking of rewards, I did look up the rewards for doing any of the old raids, and...
oh, God. It's bad.
Think about the pennies that you find underneath your in your couch.
That's what we're fighting over, isn't it?
Yeah, divide that by 2. No, actually, divide that by 32. And that's basically what we're getting.
Oh, man.
I mean, this is interest level, 2000, 20 what, too.
You know what it is? It's an unpaid vacation, basically, right? Like, we're having some fun playing some Rancor. We're not stressing about stupid Naboo raid. All you guys out there doing Naboo raid, you don't know what you're missing. Let me tell you.
I'm going to push.
We're not going to get the rewards that we're used to for a while. We will get there. Yeah. And by the time we get there, it may be a new raid. We may not do Battle of Naboo again.
Which is crazy.
is kind of okay with me. I don't know. I wouldn't mind.
I mean,
doing one more, trying to max it out one more time. But
the hard part is that we just got kind of that update, so it's a little bit easier. So I can do more sim, so that is the downside. But
yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, but still, I think, like you just said, there's a little bit of excitement with this because it's going to be different. I mean, it's going to be a cluster. I mean, there's no way around it. It's going to be a cluster.
Well, we don't even know, too. Maybe if you're listening to this, you could message me on Discord or something and let me know. When we used to do the Rancor raid, we would launch it, and then everyone sends one character in to die. Like your weakest character. You send them in to get eaten by the Rancor. That way you have a score of 0 instead of, like, nothing. So then in 24 hours, the embargo is off and everyone can go in and go nuts, clear out the Rancor, because it happens so fast, right? Otherwise, most of the people miss out. But that way you have 24 hours to claim, like, I scored a 0. I don't know if that's still necessary or if they've updated the raids so much. I don't know how it works anymore. We'll report back next week.
Yeah.
But if anyone knows for sure, I wouldn't mind a heads up because I want to be able to tell my guildmates what's about to happen.
I mean, it's going to be either way. I mean, even if it turns out to where I don't get like the 1100 for first place of the tier 2 currency, it's going to be okay. I mean, I would love an opportunity, at least to get in there to see it. I mean, I think that would be kind of fun, but I don't know exactly what time it's going to launch, so it might be one of those...
It is going to be a noon launch.
Noon launch, okay.
It will launch at noon.
I'm just going to take it to it.
We can change that next time, too. I mean, it can be... I'm open to whatever, but...
It's all right. I can already tell that there's going to be a need to use the restroom at 12, so...
you're only going to need to be in there for a couple minutes. That's going to be a real quick raid, I'm sure. But so we've got a few spots open. If you want to get in on it, here's my elevator pitch: it's a little relaxed. We are not territory war focused. That doesn't mean like we won't set defenses and won't attack. It's just like I don't have it personally. I don't have it in me to really get into territory war, and I sure as heck don't have it in me. Sure as heck, I don't know. Don't have it in me to lead 50 people in battle for something that the rewards aren't great. So we're going to focus on territory battles and raids. And even that, it's like, hey, that'd be neat if we can get this, but we're not going to be cracking whips or anything. So that's the pitch. Business casual. There you go.
Perfect. Yeah, so definitely take a look out there, and it's been fun just getting people into the Discord too. So even if you're not joining, there's a decent amount of people just
a lot
in
of
the
hockey
Discord.
talk.
So yeah,
I had to make a whole channel just for hockey because there's some hockey talk in this guild.
But yeah, so there's the guild. We are. I mean, I'm not gonna say we're the wieners, but we're
kind of we're the Tatooiners.
I know, right? So I mean,
rise up.
Yeah, there you go. Come and see what we look like, right? I mean, that's just... Okay, all right. So,
man.
Moving in kind of a little bit of an update. So we did get one update which brought Crosshair in there. Really didn't do too much else. But one thing they are finding right now is GAC points. There might be a little bit of an issue. And if you read the actual... if you read the post, there's not much. It says, hey, this is broke. But when you go onto Reddit, it does look like it's not calculating actually everything that's in there. Now, watching your stream, did you see anything on yours?
I did. Yeah, I wasn't paying super close attention, but I did catch a couple where, it would say you scored 32 points. Cool. And because I have a scoreboard that I use, like my scoreboard on my Twitch stream is a Photoshop document that I change the number and save it, and it moves over into the stream. So I see exactly what my score is, and I'm like, but that plus 32 isn't that. So there were definitely, I was definitely affected.
And I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I really, there was some talk on Reddit about like if it's this bad, maybe they'll go through and cancel the whole thing. I hope they don't do that, but if they do, they do, right? I mean,
yeah, I think there's probably a pretty good chance they do.
So. I mean, I just want, like, I don't want it to be a long time because I need those crystals, So it's like,
yeah,
I need that money.
Well, and there's the problem is, it's like if they just give us crystals, that doesn't fix like if you get promoted or relegated. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess it's all crystals in the end, right? But it's whatever. What are you gonna do? I
know, right? I'm still gonna play. I mean, they got me by the fingernails. By the fingernails. So, I mean, I'm going to be playing it, whatever happens with it. Now, I will say, I had to go in and do my Darth Revan match. I mean, guaranteed. So, we'll see what happens tomorrow, but we will move forward. So, that if in fact you are doing your GAC, just pay attention to that. There's a good chance that may happen. We'll see what happens what the rewards are, if there's any rewards for it, or if they push it back. I guess we'll find that out soon. So, and who knows? By the time that you're listening to this, you'll be like, we already know what happens because this was 2 days ago that we recorded this.
We got our payout.
So
move on.
I know, right? No, we're going to go back to it. GAC point.
Go back to talking about your Rancor raids, you goobers.
It's all right. So, you want to go into this?
Yeah, let's talk Crosshair. Crosshairless.
So, real quick before we start, he looks different in the face model than I would have expected.
Yeah, and that has to do with the character design in the animated series versus in-game. They always try and make him look like Tamura Morrison.
Yeah.
And I get why they do that. But sometimes it just doesn't line up, And this is one of those where Crosshair in the Bad Batch doesn't really look that much like Tamura Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice, of all the clones, all the original Bad Batch, Tech never takes his helmet off. And I think part of that is because he looks nothing like Tamura Morrison in the series. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they experimented with it and they were like, this one's just not going to happen, guys. He's keeping this helmet on.
He's fugly.
But it is, if you could picture a live action Crosshair played by Tamura Morrison, that's what you're getting.
I mean, again, he's not bad. It just he's no Jedi training Rey at the beginning, right? So I mean, like, it's a good model, but it's one of those things where, like, I know what he should look like. He just doesn't 100% look like him.
It's just not that. Yeah. I mean, in game doesn't really matter because he's got his helmet on.
I know, right?
But he's the big attacker, as we figured. Single target damage, definitely a help for Bad Batch because I don't know. I'll try him. I'll get the team. Of course, it'll be required for something, a raid or a mark or a legendary or something down the road. But it did feel like that was like the damage output was not great, and so we'll see how this changes things. But let's just go over it. I guess his basic is called a hit or a miss. And you deal physical damage to the target enemy 3 times and inflict them with defense down for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. If it misses, expose them for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. I like that.
Yeah.
Feels on brand. The second one is his first special. I will handle it.
It's amazing animations, by the way.
Super cool.
I mean,
super cool.
It's very cool. Very cool.
The most Crosshair animation. I don't know. The second special is very Crosshair as well. But this is deal physical damage to target enemy, dealing 10% more damage for each relic amplifier level Crosshair has. Call target Bad Batch ally to assist, dealing 50% more damage. The animation is him like throwing up some kind of, I don't think it's a thermal detonator, but some kind of like explosive or something, and then sniping it. Very cool. If Crosshair was the target ally, he is not called to assist and instead removes 6 stacks of shaken from himself and stuns the target for 1 turn. If ally Omega Fugitive is in the leader slot and the target enemy took damage from a Bad Batch ally's attack on a previous turn, reduce the cooldown of target secured by 1. Target secured is shaken, by the way, is minus 10% accuracy. It comes up later in his kit, but the target secured has a cooldown of 8, and he Crosshair gains 200% crit damage until the end of his turn. Yikes. Deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict armor shred until the end of encounter. This attack deals 50% more damage based on the number of turns taken by enemies and Crosshair before target secured is used again to a max of 500%. This attack can't be evaded and can't be used if Crosshair has shaken. Now, that cooldown of 8 sounds like a lot of turns are going to pass, but keep in mind Omega can reduce cooldowns like pretty monstrously, as Darth Nihilus has clearly demonstrated for us. And then the only other thing, simple kit overall. I mean, it sounds a little complicated, but for a 2025 kit, this ain't nothing.
Right.
Is his Omicron for Grand Arenas. It's called It's in My Head. And at the start of battle, he gains 200% defense for 3 turns and is inflicted with 20 stacks of shaken, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. Whenever he gains a stack of target practice, he removes a stack of shaken and gains 15% turn meter. So it's almost like an ult. Like you get rid of all these stacks, and then you can use the what's it called, target secured, and just blast somebody into oblivion. So whenever he gains a stack, whenever all stacks of shaken are removed, he dispels all debuffs on himself. It takes a bonus turn, so that's when he's going to do the nasty thing to somebody. I don't know. He gains 100% accuracy while targeting a marked enemy. If there's no Galactic Legends, his attacks ignore protection. And while in Grand Arenas, and there are no Galactic Legends, whenever he's inflicted with a debuff, he dispels it and gains 5% offense for 1 turn. Whenever a Bad Batch ally with target practice uses a special ability, he assists. And that's it. It's not that complicated of a kit, really.
It's kind of nice. It's kind of refreshing. Now, it seems like with Omega, obviously, like with each one of them, they really have high turns on there. So, like, who are you going to use it on first? I think that's where I keep on kind of going back to it, is like, as there's so many, turn, like the cooldowns are so high. That's what I'm wondering, is just long term, like how, do you, that's, I think when we
seems like a high skill game, or a team, like
you have to have some strategy with this, I think.
Is nice, because it makes me think that on defense, it's probably not going to be that strong. They're as strong as it is with a human pilot, But yeah, that is interesting. I think the answer of who you use that on first is probably going to change from match to match. You know, you got to pay attention and see, like, he's still got 5 stacks of shaken. I'm not using it on him.
Yeah.
We'll use it over here, you know?
I mean, plus you got to remember the kit for the other ones too. But we got a little while before
which is why I said I'll use it over here, because I don't remember what the other long cooldown ones are. I know they're out there, but I don't remember them.
I do think that each one does have one, though.
Yep. But at least Hunter and Wrecker. I'm not sure that Batcher does.
True.
I thought Batcher was a little more straightforward, but I could be wrong. Yeah. Oh, so how about we also didn't talk about the oopsie with Wrecker on the Galactic Challenge. This last Galactic Challenge, you know how there's always a character one, like beat this with a 7-star or whatever. It had beat it with a 7-star Wrecker.
Oh.
Not the new Wrecker. The old Wrecker. So,
whoops.
Like, people that didn't whale out got full. And I've completed this pass, so it's just more currency for me, but it was still like, cool. I guess I'll just get all these rewards then, you know? Unless
you are someone like me that read it still as the new Wrecker.
Oh, no. I thought I saw you at Discord acknowledge. Oh, that's a bummer.
No, I guess I wasn't paying attention to it, so whoops.
Yeah, so that was a nice little surprise. But yeah, this feels very Crosshair. The team feels like a really good Bad Batch team. We just got to see how it performs, you know, once we get our hands on this, or people with money get their hands on it and make YouTube videos about what they're able to do. Then we'll know. And then we'll report back on what we saw on YouTube.
And it might be good, it might be okay. But, you know.
Yeah.
We'll tell you something about it.
For sure. All right, so let's how do we want to, we can't really talk about raid progress. Let's talk about Grand Arena. Let's give a little update on that. How was your last round, and have you started this round?
Yeah, so last round, it didn't really go very well. Just being a little bit honest there, it started off really rough because I did a couple matches as we were doing the Doth chat, and so I wanted to go first off because I got Darth Revan, I got the new toy, so we decided to go against, Dark Trooper Moff, and got to play that and streamed it on the Doth chat, so that was kind of nice. I kind of forgot to go again after that, so
been there.
I had 122 points at that point, and so I was like, oh man, I totally forgot. So the next day at 5 o'clock, I said, you're ready to start your defenses, and I'm going, oh man. But I did look at the hold side of it, and I did really well. I mean, I could have easily won this, to be honest. So my Grey Mothers, yes, actually held against their Darth Revan and Melgus, which was really nice. Reba held against Traya and Padme. Gungans held against Lord Vader, which I'm really surprised on. That was kind of interesting. My TO, which is going to be my Trey and Oppress, held against Jedi Knight Luke, Gungans, Imps, old school Night Sisters, Bosk, and Rolo. So
hot dog.
I know that was pretty nice. So I mean, I could have won, but I didn't. So they ended up winning, and that was against Hugland. Didn't give me a hug. At least I kind of gave him or her a hug in a
painful hug, like a Wookiee hug.
Yeah, it's like, or Ivan, my oldest, when he gives me a hug, it's like not truly a hug. It's like the least amount of like contact as possible.
Yeah, just like tap, walk by.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, it was 122 ended up being 122 out of 1175. I know. So then round 2 was against Mr. Bush, which I just love that, right? So
Mr. Bush.
I mean, if it said President Bush, I would have probably would have messaged him, but it was just Mr. Bush. So I mean,
Mr. Bush.
But so in this round, it was really nice because when I ended up going and turning it on, they had 119 points. So they stalled out, unfortunately. So it ended up being where Queen P, which I call her, so ended up going through and held against Lord Vader, which is amazing. And then they used some weird Sith team that didn't make a lot of sense that ended up losing, and so they kind of stalled out there. And then my Jedi Master Luke held against their Jedi Master Luke, except for mine was a Bastille Elite, so that kind of worked out. And you know how it is, right? I mean, when you know you're going to win, you're going to put as much effort as possible to do your best, but not me. So I ended up going through and Maul versus Gas. That was an easy one. Starkiller, I was doing really well until I got to Rey and then Jabba. Starkiller couldn't beat Rey. And then Jabba just ate up my Kylo. So I basically said I'll do what I can and then move forward. So at this point, I still haven't scored 1,000 points yet. And
I think we all got soft with those Starkiller crowns. We got used to it doesn't matter what, but because you saw me, I lost that stupid fight today too.
It's a tough one. I mean, that was so great to have him go through and continue to assist even when anybody doesn't
wipe
move.
Her out. Yeah.
The problem is that Palps just died. Sometimes it's a scenario where he's lived through a lot of stuff, but she did not. She was not happy. So final score on that one was 550 to 119. So a win's a win. So I will take it
for sure.
Now the last round, I turned it on and I was at 2000. They had 2007. So it was going to be, I need to have a clean match. And this was against Zen Breezer. It kind of started off really good. Bane beat Leia. That's always nice. Then I used Darth Revan versus Great Mothers, and that was an easy win. So it's really fun. Again, that's Darth Revan with Zalbar and Mission.
Right.
It is nice. It is wonderful. Mission dies right off the bat. And I mean, my Darth, I think he's over 650 speed after that happens.
That'll do.
Right? And so, and basically then, so Zalbar, I mean, I just got to get him to survive for a little bit, and Revan just does it, So which
and
is
what
really
are
nice.
your relic levels on that team?
Darth Revan's relic 5, and then Mission and Zalbar are relic 3. And so, I mean, again, it means with Great Mothers, I don't have to worry about that anymore. If that's just guaranteed to win on 3v3, it's going to be pretty nice. Now, looking at it wise, I had a little bit of problem. So I got to the back row and they had a Malicos out there, and it was really kind of tough. I looked up online and Jedi Master Luke can do it, but he didn't do it. So that wasn't very fun. So unfortunately, in this case, he ended up not winning, and basically means that I no longer had to play anymore. So, well, it really ended up being where I just didn't have anything that would take it out. So, because I did have 2 holds. I didn't, weirdly enough, held against CLS and Maul. So that was my only. I had 2 on there. It just wasn't going to happen. So I ended up losing 1138 to 2007. So yes, I got demoted. So again, with our guild being a little bit crystal poor, I was a little bit disappointed in myself. But
because I've had to just pony up and buy a few crystals because I'm I
know. I was actually looking at a couple things in the store earlier today. Just be good. Don't do it yet. You don't need it. But it's the when you get 1,000 energy with Cantina, that is just special to me.
Yeah.
So, but I was good. I was clean. I'm good. But
my problem was I was on a grind where I almost have 100 out of 100. And I'm well, it's only 200 to refresh. And you get 0, and you're well, maybe I'll do it. one more stop it. Just wait till tomorrow. It doesn't matter.
Just wait until who you grinded. I'm stuck on one right now that I could have spent, but I haven't. And it's almost on principle now. So yeah.
Oh God, it's the same. I just cheated ahead. This is going to be a great. This is going to be a great segment, yeah.
Right? So, but yeah. So I mean, Kyber 4, here I come. I mean, so this time around, I only did one match so far. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen with everything. So I did go through an attack. Ended up going through and taking out their Darth Revan with their Zelbar Omicron. Just wanted to see, okay, in a mirror match, does it work? It works extremely well because, again, just like with any Darth Revan match, all you got to do is have a faster one. So
sure.
And guess what?
Speed is king.
Right? So it's not size, it's speed.
It's not the size of the Revan in the Darth in the Revan? I don't know.
I just absorb mission, become super Zelbar and super Darth. Like, I mean, it's almost like Power Ranger-ish, right? You know, we're putting our droids together.
Yeah.
Or Voltron, right? Let's do Voltron.
Form up.
All right. Let's get back on track here. So speaking of getting back on track, now you're in Fancy Kyber 2, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm living... I'm High-Falutin.
So, yes, you're High-Falutin. So I want to hear about this High-Falutin world because I'm eating ramen.
We are the High-Falutin Tatooiners.
There you go,
what we
right?
are. Maybe I might change the guild name to High-Falutin Tatooiners. I don't know. I really like it. Okay, yeah, so round one, I go up against Mr. Double XL. And I streamed this one last week, and it was like the sad stream because I just found out Black Sun Heroes was dying. Or had died. But, you know, I went through my kind of normal teams. Everything's going all right. And then Iden, man. I got stuck on her with Admiral Radis. Just couldn't get it done. Right after that, I tried gas against the two Rexes. Couldn't get that done. And boy, the wind went out of my sails. I went back and did some more battles that were like, I know how to beat Jabba, I know how to beat Rey normally. But then I tried Wampa against Mon Mothma, and that failed. And I'm like, man, once you lose enough battles in 3v3, you're kind of cooked, right? Like it's hard to get back. I ended up using Sith Eternal Emperor against Mon Mothma, which just seemed like such overkill, but it's what I had. Iden I took out with a Jedi Knight Cal lead. I had never done that, but worked okay. And then I Malgus. I used Malgus to take out the Rex that was left. I took two of them out. It was just a Captain Rex. So then I get to ships, and I do an Executor Mirror match, and I set it down and walked away, and just forgot about it. And when you lose that, you've lost, you know. So then I beat Malevolence with Profundity and called it a day. So I lost that one. Quite painfully. 1633 to 2062. Round two, I go up against Iron Man, and those defenses look a little spicy. But I go in and, when I logged in, Iron Man had attacked once for 63 points. And it's kind of late in the day, and I'm thinking maybe, you know? And I went to town. I started beating things up. I tried Wampa against a General Grievous team. I knocked out the two sides, but I couldn't get rid of Grievous, so Fennec soloed Grievous. Then Supreme Leader Kylo in the back row. I couldn't do it. I tried Jedi Master Luke, and that was not happening. There was also a Seer with Malicos team back there. Gross. Nope, couldn't do that. I tried Sith Eternal Emperor, and that went very poorly. So I think I tried gas after that, couldn't do it. I put up 743 points, and Iron Man never attacked again. So I won.
Oh, yes.
I squeaked out a win because
win.
Iron Man did not care. So I lose one that I tried, that we both tried. I win one where my opponent just didn't care. Now, round 3, up against Durentis Jr. There's no pretty way to say it. I just forgot to attack until right before the end. And, oh, no, it wasn't. I'm looking at the time stamps here. Yeah, no, it wasn't right before the end. I just, I did 3 battles and then I pieced out. So not a whole lot to report. I got some defenses. Great Mothers got a hold. In that one it was only Great Mothers was the only defensive hold I got. And then round 2, like they only attacked once. Round 1, no holds, I don't think. Yeah, no defensive holds. So just a bad week for me. Now this week though, a little different. I'm up against one particular harbor. I had to Google it. It's a Jimmy Buffett song, which when you know that, it totally makes sense. Like, yeah, that sounds like a Jimmy Buffett title. Sure. My attack was not pretty. I logged in and they had done like 3 attacks or so. And I think 3, yeah. And while I was fighting them, they did 1 more. So they've only got 207 points. I worked my tookus off to get 1289. And in the front sector, front north, I dropped 3 battles. I failed against Slicker, I failed against Great Mothers, and I failed against Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. Yikes. Dropping 3 battles is not great. In the front south sector, I dropped 4 battles. Rey took me 3 attempts to beat, and a Bastila lead with Jedi Master Luke and Watt also took me 3 battles to beat. So I have unlocked, and then I cleared out ships like pretty easy. I've unlocked that back sector. I haven't done any attacks back there, but like I don't wanna. And I want to point out that this player messaged me. I'm looking for the message here because I think it's hilarious. So they were in the guild that Black Sun Heroes merged with. And they were like, hey, just kind of saying, I heard your podcast. I feel the same way. Like that really hit home, whatever. And I was like, oh, cool, man. Let's set a bunch of stupid defenses and you should come join the new guild. And so he was like, well, I'm helping out a young guild with Geonosis. Maybe we'll do that after. I just put down my normal defense, which shouldn't be too tough for you. And I'm thinking, have you heard me talk about how bad I am at this game? How I can mess anything up? And I have. So 1289 to 207, but they've got plenty of time left and have not dropped any battles. So we'll see. All right. I think that's about enough hot content for people. That ought to hold them over for a week. But we should give them the dessert as well and let them know who you grinding.
Well, yeah, I got to tell you this because we're getting pretty close. Both of us are getting close to Ahsoka. It looks like so. Now I think I am down to 4. I think I'm down to 4. So we have this week. I had Fulcrum. She was Relic 7. She is done at Relic 9 now. So that's not too bad. I moved on to Rex. He went from Relic 5 to Relic 6. I'm just a little bit of signal data away from 7, so then he will be done. Now, Plo is still only Relic 5, so I still have one more Relic 8 to go. Not really looking forward to that. And 2 more Relic 7s. Now, Padawan Sabine went from 49 out of 100 up to 87 out of 100. So she's going to be done this week. Now, Hu Yang, 16 out of 100 up to 53 out of 100. So we probably got another week for him. So yeah, that was the biggest thing. I mean, it feels really weird at this point to only have a couple things that you're working on, but I mean, it is still a decent amount of work.
It goes in cycles like that.
Now, I will say that the only other thing I'm really truly working on is the punishing one, and we've kind of alluded to this too earlier. So I started the week at 70 out of 100, and I felt, man, I'm having such a great week for this. Like, normally my drop rates are a lot better. And then I get done, and because the one thing, and again, we can find something to always complain about with this game, you know, but the one thing that always gets me is when you were at the beginning of the day, when you're hitting those achievements for doing the work that you do all day, but then you go through and you do your ship energy, but you don't get to see how many shards you get left because it covers it.
Yeah.
So I get done, I'm thinking, okay, I can do this today. I had 95 out of 100. All I need is that, right? So, and then I go back into it probably about an hour after I did it, and I'm thinking, okay, let me just real quick get them up to 7 stars, and it's 99 out of 100, and I'm like, ugh, 1, and I went back and looked at it, and I'm a little bit crystal poor right now, so I like to have a 2,000 cushion, and so if I would have done one more refresh, I would have been under that 2,000, so I just couldn't do it. And so I am stuck at 99 out of 100, but at least...
For the next 42 minutes.
Yes, well, I'm one of those people that, like, I will not turn it on after a certain point, so it's going to be a tomorrow morning type of thing.
Sure.
But yeah, so
doggone it, you better get it tomorrow morning.
I know. Can you imagine if I go another day? That's going to drive me insane, but...
Oh, yeah.
So really the only other thing I wanted to kind of update on is just Datacrons. I ended up having Bam got his this week. Now, I think I said this last week, but I got Gamguard. He's only Relic 3, so I can't use it. So great.
That's a tough ask, taking him to Relic 5.
Right. I mean, I could do it, but I just can't at this point.
If the guild needed you to, I would support it, but we don't need
debate
to
on
do
that, right? So now, lastly, for it, I ended up getting Jedi Knight Cal. It didn't help because I lost with it, but it still I have it. So so that is my grind, which again, it just doesn't feel like that much, but anytime you get to a Relic 9 character, but in this case I'm just not going to use it like too much after this Datacron goes away, but still. So now I am at 99 of 100 for my punishing one. So I really need to understand and know that you had to get to 7 stars with this. So who you grinding?
Well, I didn't get to 7. So you were at 70 out of 100. I was at 71 out of 100. And now I'm stalled at 99 on punishing one.
Oh my gosh.
And I normally do my refresh on that for 50, right? I did extra refreshes, like a couple extra refreshes, and went just about broke refreshing to get to 99 and stall out and no more. And I had to force myself not to do it again.
I get it.
It's so frustrating. But besides that, my Ahsoka journey, I'm a little further behind with that. As far as shards, Hu Yang went from 75 out of 85 up to 12 out of 100. And Padawan Sabine went from 64 out of 85 up to 2 out of 100. So I've got a while still. Those are the only 2 things I need. Balin, I'm ready for that. Other miscellaneous things. Darkseid Ray was supposed to go to Relic 7, but like a guild apocalypse happened. Yep. So kind of have to realign. So Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, that said, was at Relic 6, and I figured I can't look at Relic 6. Let's push him to 7. So I did it. And plus, like, for what I wanted to use him for in territory battles, like, it kind of, like, he's the only one on the team that's not at Relic 7, so I really needed to push that up. With Darkside Ray, I use First Order, and I've got 4 of them at Relic 7. But for the 5th slot, I use a Wampa, and I've been doing it for a long time, and it's fine. It's Supreme Leader Kylo, crew, Sith Trooper, and the other original Kylo that are all Relic 7. And you throw Wampa in there, and it gets it done.
It works.
Ray would be cooler, but it is what it is. All right, so on to this first phase of territory battles. And one fun thing about being in a brand new guild, not one that you just joined, but a brand new guild, is territory battle starts and everyone's like, who's going to fill operations? And we're all scrambling and like, oh God, I don't know. I don't have, that's a thing that guilds build over time is these weird Relicate Hoth Rebel soldiers and things like that, that don't make any sense, but someone did it for the good of the guild, right? Well, we're in that phase right now where we're learning. So I took Low Gray from Relic 3 to Relic 5. Yay!
Thank you.
I also took Ugnaught from Gear 12 to Relic 3. He'll be 5 soon. And I haven't even looked at what we need for Phase 2. Let's figure out Phase 1. Let's max those operations out. Plus, we'll have some more people coming in. So it's kind of like, it's a little premature to really be worrying about it too much. We've got 18 more people that'll be joining us.
Yeah.
So who knows what they're going to bring to the table, right?
Maybe they have a Relic 9 Ugnaught.
And then for Zetas, I haven't spent any because... Oh, I did. No, I think last week I had done Rutgers Zetas. So I got nothing cool to spend them on, so I'm not spending. Omicrons, I think it was this week that I did Ray's second one, Darkside Ray. I'm pretty sure it was. Don't be afraid of who you are and In Our Nature, and I forget the order I did those. But that's what was done. That's all we got for you this week. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend you come after Josh's Queen P with your Lord Vader, because he will not be having that. He will not. He's too highfalutin.
Denied.
If you want to continue the conversation, join our Discord server. It's linked in the show description. Become a real live Jawa by supporting us on Patreon, and share your thoughts by leaving us a podcast review. Big thanks also go out to Pabu Appa and swgoh.gg and swgohevents.com for providing all the hard data we misinterpret weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG be with you.